I was 8 months pregnant when he suggested the name, just casually, over dinner, like it meant nothing. What about Amber? Something inside me went completely still. Not loud, not dramatic, the kind of still that happens when your body figures something out before your brain is ready to hear it. I smiled and said maybe, then I waited until he fell asleep. What I found on his phone that night didn't just end my marriage, it changed the way I will think about love for the rest of my life. My name is Nicole, 28 years old, and 4 years ago, I fell in love with a man who made me feel like nothing in the world could touch me. That feeling was real. I need you to know that first. Jake wasn't pretending in the beginning. He was the man who drove 40 minutes in the rain to bring me soup when I had a cold and never brought it up again. The man who cried at our wedding in front of everyone and didn't care who saw him. The man who actually listened and remembered the small things weeks later like they still mattered. When we found out I was pregnant 7 months into our marriage, I took 3 tests back to back because I needed to be completely sure before I let myself feel it. Jake was standing in the bathroom doorway watching me. When I turned around holding all 3, he crossed the room and held me so tight I couldn't breathe right. "We are going to be so good at this," he said into my hair.
Promise you, Nicole. I absolutely promise.
I believed every single word, and that is exactly what makes everything that came after hurt the way it still does. The first months felt like proof I had built something real. He came to every appointment, built the crib himself over one full weekend, painted the nursery soft yellow because I couldn't handle fumes. At night when he thought I was asleep, he would rest his hand on my belly and talk to her so softly I could barely hear the words. I was completely certain I had chosen correctly. Then things started shifting. Small things, the kind that are easy to explain away one at a time. His phone moved from the kitchen counter to his nightstand right beside him every night. His passcode changed for the first time in 3 years. He said it was a work security thing. I had no reason not to believe him. He started taking calls outside. Occasionally at first, then every single time. Always the back porch, always with the door pulled shut. Always with an explanation ready the second he came back in. Then one evening I walked into the living room and he closed his laptop just slightly too fast. Not slammed, just too fast for the situation. "Work stuff," he said, without me asking anything at all. Something small and quiet sat down in the back of my chest and stayed there. I told myself I was paranoid, that this man built our daughter's crib with his own hands and that had to mean something. I almost convinced myself completely. Then came that Tuesday night. Pasta on the stove, Jake across the table. He set his phone face down and looked up casually. "Have you thought any more about names?" "I still love Claire," I said. He nodded, but his face didn't follow.
What about Amber? Warm, different.
"It just feels right." I put my fork down slowly. "Where did that come from?" I asked. "Nowhere," he said. "I just like it, named Amber. No reason attached to it whatsoever. Just a name being quietly pushed toward our unborn daughter across the dinner table." "I'll think about it," I told him. I smiled. I didn't sleep that night. I lay beside him for 2 hours listening until I was certain he was completely out. Then I reached across and picked up his phone. The passcode had changed. I tried our anniversary. Wrong. I tried the date we found out we were pregnant. It opened. I found Amber in under a minute. Not a work contact. A full conversation thread going back 14 months. Messages, photos, voice notes. Weekend plans made and kept. A complete relationship living in the dark while I slept beside him every single night. I took his phone to the bathroom floor and read everything. It took over an hour. She called him babe. He called her his person. Inside jokes, future plans, a level of comfort that told me this had never once been casual. But one message made everything else go completely quiet. Sent 4 months ago, the exact week we announced this pregnancy to our families. The same night his mother held my face and cried happy tears. The same night his father shook his hand with genuine pride while I stood right there. Jake had sent it from our own driveway before coming back inside. "I wish this baby was ours." 7 words. Them until the screen blurred. Then I sat on that cold floor and let it land completely. This is the part nobody talks about honestly. Before the anger, before the planning, before the strength people assume you automatically find. There is just grief, pure and total. The moment you understand that, you were completely all the way in while he had one foot somewhere else the entire time. I sat with that for a long time. Then I took screenshots of everything and put his phone back exactly where I found it. I called Brianna at 6 a.m. the second Jake pulled out of the driveway. She picked up before the second ring. "Talk to me," she said. I told her everything. She was at my kitchen table in 20 minutes.
She scrolled through every
Screenshot without one word. When she looked up, her eyes were completely steady. "Nicole, what do you
need right now?
A divorce attorney. And help holding myself
Together until this baby is here."
She put both hands over mine across the table. "You already have both of those, starting right now." The next 3 weeks were the hardest of my life. Not because I had to pretend, but because I had to pretend while grieving. while terrified, while 8 months pregnant and completely alone with a truth that was crushing me from the inside. Jake was warm during those 3 weeks, decaf every morning, feet rubbed every night without asking. Genuine excitement about our daughter that felt completely real and confused me in ways I am still working through, because nobody warns you about this. The love doesn't switch off when you find out the truth. It stays exactly where it was and hurts in a completely different way. Every kind thing he did felt like a cut I couldn't explain to anyone. He suggested Amber 2 more times. Both times I said I was still thinking. Both times I smiled. The attorney had paperwork ready within a week. I signed everything on a Wednesday while Jake thought I was at a prenatal class. Every screenshot filed, every message documented with exact dates and times. My contractions started at 4:17 a.m. on a Tuesday. Jake drove to the hospital holding my hand at every red light. He stayed through every contraction, talked me through every wave exactly the way we practiced.
You are the most incredible person I have ever watched do anything.
I know.
Later, Claire came into the world. 7 pounds 2 ounces, dark hair, tiny perfect hands. The most complete thing I have ever seen in my life. Jake was crying before the nurse finished her first check.
Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you so much. That looked exactly like real joy.
Have you decided? She's beautiful.
On a name?
And looked straight back at him. Her name is Claire, I said. It was always. Claire, closing from the inside.
2 hours later, Jake stepped out to call his parents. The second he was gone, Brianna walked through my door. She was not alone. When Jake came back into that room, still smiling, still holding his phone, still completely convinced he had gotten away with everything, he found me sitting up, holding Claire, with a lawyer standing beside my best friend. The papers were in his hands before he finished processing what he was seeing.
Nicole.
He started. I said, just that one word. He looked at Claire, then at the papers, then back at me.
Please.
Jake,
Brianna's voice from the corner was quiet and completely final.
there is nothing left to say in this room.
His legs buckled first. He grabbed the wall behind him, stood there holding those papers while every bit of color drained from his face all at once. Then he walked out. Claire's 3 weeks old now. She sleeps on my chest and breathes so quietly, I sometimes put my hand on her back just to feel it rising and falling. She has no idea what happened before she got here. No idea there was ever another name. No idea her father tried to give her away before she even took her first breath. She just knows warmth, safety, my voice. That is everything right now. And it is enough. Some men show you exactly who they are in the smallest moments. A name suggested casually over pasta, a phone that moved 6 inches across the nightstand, a passcode changed on a Tuesday with no real explanation. The signs were always there. I just had to get quiet enough to feel of them. So before you go, I want to ask you something. Has someone ever said something so small and so offhand that something inside you just went completely still? Tell me in the comments what it was. Because you were not imagining it. You never were. Drop a comment. What was the small moment that told you everything?
Drop a heart if you finally chose yourself.